Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Share the Zoom.
Like the share screen up first.
Oh, this you're talking
Yeah.
about. Okay, that's okay. You would think that after like 2 years of doing this baloney, I'd have an idea, but. Okay, I think we're ready. Oh yeah, look at that. I get to play with my clicker too. Okay, so we are ready. We've got a couple people online, people in-house. So thank you all for joining me. My name is Kate Percival. Content coordinator here at SUNY Oswego. And today we're going to be talking about accessible emails. For some reason, all of a sudden, it decided to cut out on me. We're going to start out with some fun facts. According to OutlookTracker.com, 300.4 billion. I think to update that for 2021, but 2020. Email and receives approximately 121 emails a day. That's a whole lot. So pair those facts disability, as well as the National Center for Learning Disabilities says that only 24% of college students disclose their disabilities. So what does all that mean? That means that we spend a lot of time sending and receiving emails, and you don't always know who your audience is. You may think you know the person you're sending that email to, but you may not know as well as you think you know. So this means that accessible emails are important because not all disabilities are visible. People may be experiencing disabling situations or factors. They may not be in the best environment. The pandemic highlighted this brilliantly to us when everyone was automatically sent home. Suddenly we had students who didn't have their own equipment to get on the internet, who were in less than ideal learning environments. So there are lots of situations and lots of factors that can affect how someone consumes digital content. Because we send and receive so many emails, and because they are such an and imperative part of our daily work environment, creating accessible emails allows them to be inclusive to a very wide audience, regardless of people's abilities or disabilities. There are 5 basic accessibility principles. If anyone has been to they heard of these? Identify content types, excuse me, also called structured content, providing text equivalents or alt text, using color carefully, providing descriptive or embedded hyperlinks, and using clear and plain language. Because the platforms do not easily allow you to incorporate all of these features, as does documents and websites. So there's a little bit of a workaround that we have to do with emails, but there are ways that we can incorporate all 5 of these basic concepts. Start off, you can't create headings the same way that you can create headings in documents. So we start off in emails by separating paragraphs with headings and lists. This makes it easier to read, it makes it easier for the eye to consume, it makes it easier for screen readers. Adding image descriptions or removing images altogether. Again, alt text is one of those things that doesn't really play very well in email. So if an image is not necessary, I highly recommend consider removing it. Use color sparingly or not at all. In clear and simple language, which includes the subject line, and I'll kind of explain what all of those mean. Example of a bad email. It's a screenshot. Says, "Hi team," in purple. Says, "We'll be meeting this Friday," highlighted, "to review the changes to our quarterly meetings. Meeting will go a lot smoother if everyone comes with 3 items they'd like to see addressed," underlined. And "I believe in this team. Don't forget to bring your smiles with punctuation emojis," not even real emojis, punctuation emojis. See you at 9 a.m. sharp with like 5 exclamation points. Anyone care to guess what's wrong with this email? Ways. The color, use of color. There's like 4 different colors in here, plus the highlight. All of those are like not big font, let's say. So there are much better ways to present this message. Here's another fabulous bad email, completely made up. Subject line of join us. Dear colleague, please see the attached flyer. Love me. And then we have a screenshot of the lovely flyer, which is a nice purple flower with black text over top of it. That's a little bit difficult to read. Hot dogs, burgers, veggie burgers, potato salad, fruit salad, chips, cookies, and drinks. Anyone care to guess what's wrong with this email? There is no image description. There is absolutely no information in the email whatsoever. How many times do we hear CTS? It's extremely vague. Anyone could hack into that address and send you something that would, blow up the world if you clicked on it. So this is another fabulous example of a don't do email. Separating paragraphs with headings and lists. As I mentioned, we can't really structure headings in emails the same way that we structure them in documents. Create a heading that looks visually different. Screen readers to pick up on that emphasis and will alert the screen reader user that that text is in bold or italics. Add headings, and a little caveat, these screenshots and the information on Gmail platform. It's what I use. I know it's what much of the college uses. If there are, I know there's a million other email platforms. So these screenshots and information is from, for the insert a heading, quote heading, that you want to differentiate. Down at the very bottom, next to the send button, click on that, and then you get a little list. You can choose either bold or italics or both, and that will separate out that particular text from the rest of your message. With separating with headings and lists, and we're going to talk about lists in just a second. There's a thing, I can't think of a better word, thing called chunking. This basically breaks down long passages into smaller pieces of text. Again, it helps the reader identify key concepts and organize information, and it helps ease cognitive overload. Please don't try to read this next slide. It's a mess. It's a passage that was just basically copy and pasted from our accessibility website. I don't know about anybody else. My eyes automatically rolled into the back of my head. Oh my gosh, that's so much work. There's so many words on that page. I don't want to have to read all. Very difficult to pull out concepts. It's difficult to understand what's important and what's not. By about, I don't know, maybe the 10th word, my brain is just out the door. Nope, I can't even. Paragraph of text. We have the type of disabilities heading, another small paragraph of text. We have factors, which is in a list, and then a final paragraph. It's much easier to skim. Your eye is drawn to the different. Understand key concepts. It's much more satisfying than the wall of text that no one likes to get. Creating lists. We've already talked about that just a little bit. Again, Same basic points. It helps readers identify key concepts and important information. It eases cognitive overload, and it's suggested to use lists for 3 or more items, especially if it's more than 1 word. You want to break out the items onto individual lines, highlight the text you would like to create a list from, go back to the formatting options, which is the underlined A at the bottom of the screen. You have the same menu pulled up, and then you can find either the bulleted or the numbered list. Bullets and numbers as far as lists go. Main difference, bullets are an unordered list. Does not matter the order that the things are supposed to appear in. Numbers best practice. It's not always used by people, but a list is a little better than not a list. So having it ordered or unordered. The other day, and I mentioned that, and they were like, oh, "Really? I never." Is to be performed in a specific order, use the numbers. Fire love me versus covering it, but the subject line I changed to say employee luncheon rather than join us. So again, oh, I'm an employee. I'm invited to the luncheon. Okay, let's find out what's happening. Pink or purple or whatever it was I had it as. And it's a very easy to read, familiar font. So better email to consume.
Sorry to interrupt, but half the sound is cutting out on the Zoom link. Sorry.
True. All right, I'll try to stop turning around then. I'll just stare at the computer screen. I'll hope that. Moving on to text equivalent. I do see a couple things in the chat. I will address those towards the end, if that's okay. If you have a question, please feel free to jump in and interrupt me for those people online. I don't like to mess with the screen and check chat and switch back and forth while I'm presenting. So I will.
It's all about the sound.
Okay.
Thanks.
So alt text or text equivalence is an image description that describes what the image represents, not necessarily what is seen in the image, but the meaning of the image. It allows people who can't see it to understand the meaning. Again, in email, alt text does not play very well. So it's suggested to include descriptive information in the body of the email if the image is important. If the image is not really important, as in my flyer example, you can simply remove the image. Don't even bother with it. Examples, we have a textbook cover. That is acceptable alt text. It doesn't give you any context. It doesn't tell you what kind of textbook cover. It pretty much gives you no information. So if you were to include, if you were to be writing an email to a class, perhaps students at the beginning, you know, welcome students, welcome to my class. I want you to order this specific textbook, version 3 or whatever it is. If you're going to include an image, you might want to include very specific alt text, such as John Eastwood's Oxford Guide to English Grammar. The cover is a blue background with white text and multicolored circles at the bottom. That gives your students a visual of exactly what it is that they're looking for. Another example, very generic, a man and a woman at a podium. just looking at the example, that's all that we see. This image was taken from the oswego.edu homepage in relation to a news article. Specific alt text would be Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow presents former SUNY Oswego President Deborah Stanley with the City of Oswego Lifetime Achievement Award. And if you look very carefully, in between the two of them, you can see the little plaque. It's clear, so it's hard to see, but it's there. Again, you want to relay the meaning. Who are these people? Why do we care? What are we looking at? Why are they here? And this image I love because it, I think, really highlights the context. Alt text can change based on the context that the image is being used in. So there isn't always a right or wrong answer to alt text. It's strictly based on the information that you want the reader to gain from that picture. In this image, we have a woman smiling, looking out over a body of water with a beach volleyball game happening in the background. That's very generic alt text. This image, again, was taken from the oswego.edu homepage in relation to a news article. Specific alt text would be wellness management major Fadi Gay, who earned SUNY's Norman R. McConney Jr. Award for Student Excellence. The fact that she's in this beautiful place has no relevance. The beach volleyball background, the beach volleyball game that's happening in the background that we can clearly see is not important at all. We're looking at this woman, Fadi Gay, because she earned this award, and it's associated with a news article that gives more details. So again, it's important to consider in what context your image is being used in, and especially in emails. If it has no significant relevance, I highly suggest removing it just because alt text does not really go very well in Gmail. In order to do it, you cannot add alt text directly in Gmail, at least not as of right now. So the workaround is you have to open a Google document, insert the image into the Google Doc, right click, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control-Alt-Y, choose the alt text option from the options menu, enter in your alt text, and then copy the image. Once you've added in the alt text in the Google Doc and copied the image, you open Gmail and you paste that image into the body of the Gmail. Ridiculous, I know. Like Google Docs are fairly easily made accessible. I don't understand why Gmail is not. I know a lot of people have like badges and images and things in their signatures as well. Same basic concept. You have to open the image in the Gmail document, copy it, add in the alt text, then copy it. Go to Gmail, open up the settings, which is the little cog icon up at the top. And it opens like a preview menu, select see all settings, scroll all the way down to the bottom, find the signatures, paste your image into the signature box, and then hit save. Lots of extra steps. So for signatures, I can see wanting to have a picture or a badge or an image of some sort in there. That's fine. Please make sure that you open it in a Google Doc and add in your alt text. And again, I just stress, if images are not needed in the body of the email, I would just eliminate them, at least until Gmail can figure out how to effectively add alt text in. All right, moving on to using color. Color is another thing. It's fabulous when it works, and it can sort of work against you if you don't use it correctly. This is an image of an actual football game that took place on a live TV network a couple of years ago. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have the New York Jets in green uniforms, and on the right-hand side of the screen, we have New York Buffalo Bills in red uniforms. Anyone care to guess what the most prevalent form of color blindness is? Red and green. So for anyone who has color blindness, or perhaps if they were watching it on a 13-inch black and white TV for whatever reason, this is what they were seeing. Nice and gray. No differentiation whatsoever. I'm not a huge football fan, but the few football games that I have watched, I really need those uniform colors to help me figure out what's going on. So trying to figure out who has the ball by just looking at the helmets, not happening. Apparently I don't remember which network it was, but apparently the network received a number of complaints about this particular football game. So even though that example is kind of like physical real world as opposed to digital space, I love that picture because I think it really highlights how important color can be. You want to use high contrast. Dark text on a light background is the best. Light text on a dark background is also acceptable for small passages. It's harder on our eyes and harder on our brains to read light text on a dark background. Excuse me. In the case of our first really bad email where she used like 4 different colors and bold and exclamation points and all these other things, if you're using color to highlight a particular piece of information, you want to make sure that the color is not the only means of relaying that information. You have to have a secondary attribute. The best way to determine whether your email is acceptable, I guess is the right word, preview it in grayscale. Pretend like you're going to print it, put it in grayscale, and see what it looks like. And if you can't distinguish the colors in grayscale, someone with low vision or color blindness is also not going to be able to differentiate the colors. So, not using color alone. We have the same sentence here written twice. We have accessibility is the inclusive practice of removing barriers that prevent interaction with websites, media, and digital content. In our first example, our bad example, the word accessibility is in red. And I want to note that that is the default red, which does not meet accessibility standards. For those of us who can see things like quote normally, red on white, it looks pretty contrasting. It does not meet accessibility standards. And I think that's important to know because everybody feels like because it's default, it's good to use. We also have the words websites, media, and digital content highlighted with yellow. For someone who has either color blindness or low vision, if they're looking at this, you're going to see like a gray background to those words, right? However, the contrast between the gray backgrounds for the highlight and that text may not be sufficient. Screen readers do not pick up on color. So when a screen reader user is listening to assistive technology read through the paragraph, screen readers will completely ignore color. So that's the main reason that you need a secondary attribute. So in our good example or better example, the bottom of the screen, the word accessibility is italicized and it's in a little bit of a darker red. So it still stands out. That red meets accessibility standards. The words websites, media, and digital content are highlighted with yellow, but they are also in bold. So putting the text in italics and in bold will alert the screen reader. There's specific code that's associated with that, and screen readers will read that to the screen reader users. These things, but on to meaningful link text. Also called embedded hyperlinks. We want to provide text that describes where the link will go. The link description should make sense out of context of the rest of the paragraph or the rest of the email body. And we want to make the clickable text a word or phrase that someone might search for. Again, this is mainly for screen reader use. Screen readers or assistive technology will read URLs 1 character at a time. So think about some of the URLs that you copy and paste. I can think of Amazon as like the worst. If you want to send an Amazon link to someone else, it's like 6 lines long, right? You do not want a screen reader to be reading that every single character. So that's the reason that we want to put links behind text. Now, a lot of times people will say, you know, here's the cool jacket that I found. Click here to see it. And the words click here are highlighted as text. That's no good because it's taken out of context. You have no idea where that link is going. I think I have examples. Yes, I do have examples. So our bad example number 1, please register for the community potluck by going to http://wrvo.org/picnic. Again, that's a very short URL. That would be really annoying to listen to more than once in any context. So take that link and put it behind the words community potluck. Register for the link community potluck. That's telling people where they want to go. As another argument, you could have register as the link. It's more direct. It's telling people where the link is going, and it's not reading the full URL. For example, learn more about Vote Oswego here, with the word here highlighted. Find where the link is going. So learn more about link Vote Oswego. Screen reader users can skim through content by using links, which means that the link text is heard completely out of context of the rest of the document or email or whatever. So if you have a whole bunch of things saying, click here, click here, click here, that's the only thing a screen reader user is going to hear. They're not going to have any idea which link is taking them where. So it's very important to put it behind descriptive text. To do this, inserting a hyperlink, again, in Gmail, highlight the appropriate text that we want to link. Down at the bottom of the screen, next to the formatting options, we have a little chain link looking icon. It's fairly iconic, I guess, an iconic icon, normal, I guess, relatable as being a link. So you click on that chain link icon, a dialog box opens up. It can display the text that you want to, or it will display the text that you have linked. So you can change, I'm sorry, it will display the text that you have highlighted. You can change that. Paste. I always open up the website that I want to go to, and then I copy the URL and I paste it into this dialog box. That way there's no chance of me forgetting a letter or mistyping it or whatever. And it's simply that easy. Then you hit OK. And then it links that text to the URL. In clear and simple language. Subject line of emails acts as a title. We talked about this briefly in the very beginning. The join us versus employee luncheon. You want the subject line to be succinct. You want it to be meaningful. You want it to briefly describe the purpose of the email. And you want to avoid things like all caps. It's suggested to avoid punctuation. Just have it be a couple of words that describes basically what you're trying to say in the email. Again, some examples, bad examples. Attention, all caps. Whenever I get an email that has a subject line with all caps and like 7 exclamation points, I almost automatically delete it. I rarely even open those because chances are it's spam. We have the ever popular, hello, dear. That's also probably spam. If someone's calling me dear, they don't really know me. The hurry, act now. Again, I'm not a hurry, act now kind of person. So when I get an email that says, hurry, act now, sale ends in 3 hours, I'm like, nope, don't care, delete. It's not that important to me. And the join us, which is just very vague, very ubiquitous, tells us nothing about what we're going to be opening. So better examples of email titles. STC registration is open. You could also expand that to say the SUNY Technology Conference registration is open. Great, I'm interested in STC. I want to go. Registration is open. That means that I should open that and find out all the details. Tuesday's meeting agenda. First of all, this reminds me that I have a meeting on Tuesday. Second of all, it tells me that I should probably open this, figure out what the agenda is, and see if I need to prepare anything. Third good example, apply for the TIP grant by June 13th. Again, I can't remember what TIP stands for, but I know it's a thing on campus and I know it's important, and I know that if I want to apply for it or if I want to see if I'm eligible to apply, I need to open that email to figure out what all the details are. And then the employee luncheon, which doesn't tell me a whole lot, but it at least tells me that I'm probably being invited to some sort of thing. Of the email. This allows people to easily understand the information that's being presented. It helps a wide range of audiences, not only people with disabilities, people who have English as a second language. It helps people who are in a hurry, perhaps. If you've ever tried to read an email when you're in a hurry, you can't find whatever piece of information you're looking to find when you're in a hurry. So the more text, the more words you have to sift through, the less likely you are going to be able to find that thing, right? Disciplinary content. This is a sort of a point of pushback that we've gotten. Disciplinary content should be more specific. The using clear language rule or guideline pertains mostly to general communications, like introductory emails. Again, if you're sending, if your professor is sending an email to a class, general overall assignments, office memos, things of that nature. So general communications should be written in very clear language. Disciplinary content should be more specific. So we have a couple of it, or we have one example from the website plainlanguage.gov/examples. This is kind of a hilarious website. When you have some free time, I suggest going here and checking out some of the things that they have. This particular passage says the student applicant should submit an official copy of his or her transcript, 2 letters of recommendation from professors, a statement of financial need, and a short biographical statement to our grants office by April 15th. That's a very long sentence. I've used this particular passage in countless presentations. I have no idea what it says. The only thing that I remember is April 15th, and that's because it's at the end and it's my birthday. So that's all that I get out of that. So we go back to chunking that we talked about earlier, right? Mix that or pair that with writing in clear and plain language, and you get the following. To apply, submit the following items to our grants office by April 15th. And then we have a list, an official copy of your transcript, 2 letters of recommendation, statement of financial need, and a biographical statement. I have a checklist in front of me. First of all, if I'm searching for this information in a document, in an email body, or on a website, again, if it's in a straight paragraph, I'm never going to find it. If it's chunked out like this and put in a list, my eye is going to be drawn to it a little more easily. So even if I'm scanning a web page looking for this information, every time I hit a list, my eye is going to stop. I have a checklist in front of me. I have 4 things that need to be done. So if I'm submitting to the grants office, I have the April 15th right at the top. I have the 4 done. In my brain, I can check those off. Okay, I did number 1, I did number 2, I did number 3, I did number 4, submitted before April 15th, I'm good to go. It's a lot easier to comprehend. It's a lot easier to digest. So the writing style in emails makes a difference. And again, I will reference the wall of text that I showed you guys earlier. You want to write in short sentences. You want to have concise ideas, eliminate filler. By filler, I mean things like, in my opinion, I believe that this department would benefit if we have a meeting once a month. That's kind of a long sentence, right? You should just say, I think we should meet once a month. Much more direct, to the point, easy to understand. Again, in general communications, try to avoid jargon or things that are like industry only known. This allows people to understand whether the email pertains to them. It allows them to understand if they're in the right place. It allows them to sort of skim through the email information to figure out if they need to really pay attention to it. Chunking things out, stick with 1 concept per paragraph. Again, it just makes it more digestible. It helps people pull out key concepts. And you want to start with the most important information. This is the inverted pyramid. I don't know if anyone's familiar with this. I learned about this way back in eons ago, a lifetime ago, when I was a journalism broadcasting student as an undergrad. The inverted pyramid was established basically back in the dark ages when print was actually put on pieces of paper. Newspapers were a very finite thing. There was very finite amount of space for newspaper articles to be printed. So the articles were front loaded with the big 6 in journalism: who, what, where, when, why, and their little brother, how. Those things needed to be up front, because if the newspaper editor ran out of space, they would start cutting articles from the end. So if you wrote this beautiful article and you had all the background information leading up to it, and the most important information was in the last 2 paragraphs of your article, and your article got cut, the most important information was all of a sudden gone. So we want to front load things. Now, why am I talking about newspapers? This concept is still applicable in the digital space. While we don't have the space constrictions that newspapers do or did, we have capacity restrictions. People do not read everything word for word. People want to skim. People want the most important information first. So again, our wall of text, if we have an email or a website that just kind of has an immense article, personally, by about the second paragraph, my brain checks out. So if I have not learned what I need to learn by the second paragraph, it's gone. I'm done. So you want to front load your digital communication. Where, when, why, and how up front. And then if you feel the need to expand with important details and other general background information, you can put that down at the end, because people do not read everything. So if they get all of the important information and they don't read the other stuff, it's probably okay. Yep, the sound. Okay, I apologize for the sound. I hope I did better in the second half of that. You have a couple of other of their accessibility sort of, but they're inclusive sessions coming up today in 123 Penfield. We have the inclusive teaching practices at 1 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock, we have closing equity gaps. And then tomorrow in this classroom, Library Classroom 101, at 9 a.m., we have the 5 principles of digital accessibility. That will be given by Casey Raymond and Michelle Thornton. So they will go over a lot of the same things that I went over today, just in a slightly different capacity. At 9:30, Michelle Thornton is going to be talking about accessibility and the transition to Brightspace, which is taking the place of Blackboard. And then at 10 o'clock, Casey Raymond is going to be talking about the Faculty Accessibility Fellows Program. So if anyone is interested in getting more information about becoming a faculty fellow, I highly encourage you to attend Casey's 10 o'clock session. Questions, comments, ideas, thoughts?
I have a question. Can you hear me okay? So I feel like when I'm writing emails to students, I spend a lot of time worrying about the tone of my email and, not coming off as being really harsh or, stressing the importance of things. And like, whenever I see a bolded email, I'm like, I did something wrong. So I was wondering, do you have any suggestions, especially like the time it takes to put together an email can sometimes be daunting?
A great question. I don't have any scientifically backed reasons or answers to that, but I do the same thing. I'll write an email and I'll read it and I'll delete it and write another email and then delete it again. So text is very difficult because there's no body language, there's no inflection, there's no tone. So something that can be meant as, very benign and very friendly can sometimes be, quote, heard from the other person as attacking or, defensive or something. It can have a completely different connotation. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately, I don't really have any good answers except for just be as direct as you can and consider the words that you're choosing. Try to determine if there's a softer way to say things. If you're trying to avoid coming across as like, dictatorship or something like that, kind of think of how your emails are worded and consider the different wordings without adding in a whole lot of additional filler words, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I was thinking sometimes like I have someone else read it just in case.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
If you have the time, send a draft to a colleague or a friend or your kid or whatever.
Your mom,
Like, read
yeah.
this and tell me what your perception of it is. And
Don't
if
be upset and write an email.
yeah, no, don't be upset and write an email. That's a
Be in the
great.
right frame of mind where you can be
Yes.
objective. I let emails sit sometimes. If iffy and I'm really, and it's kind of a disciplinary kind of, but I want to have the right tone. I'll let it set. Look at it
Great.
with a different objective.
That's great advice, actually. Thank you for saying that, because that is one thing that I have heard repeatedly in different contexts. You know, if you're angry and you write an email and you send it, chances are you're going to regret it, or there's going to be something that you want to like backpedal on. Well, I didn't really mean it that way. I was angry and I said the wrong word or whatever. Writing an email, especially when you're upset or angry, writing an email and then letting it sit for an hour or 2 hours or a day or however long you have, coming back with a fresh mind and reading it again. Yeah, how is this going to sound? Is it coming across as, you know, very strict? Is it coming across as very angry? Or can I soften myself up a little bit and maybe say what I want to say without sounding like a total jerk? That's another really good point. So I was going to say too, if you have like an email template, for lack of a better word, you know, something that you send out at the beginning of every semester to every class, a repeated sort of email, create that as a draft. And again, let someone else read it, or, you know, create it and then sit on it, come back to it, see how it sounds, and then just save that. You can save drafts in Gmail or save it as a Google Doc is what I generally do. I put the text in a Google Doc and I save it. And then I can just copy the text, pop it into an email. I can tweak it if I need to, change a couple of things, and send it out. And that like sort of ensures that you're not starting from scratch every time you have to send out this thing, and you have the right wording and all that kind of thing. So great question. Thank you. Suggestions on conveying tone. Okay, we just talked about that. Any other questions? My email address is kathleen.percival@oswego.edu. Our accessibility website is oswego.edu/accessibility. If anyone has any questions, well, that caption was really not what it was supposed to be. oswego.edu/accessibility. Not any better, but whatever. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to email me. I do have various trainings that I will do, not specific to emails, but specific to Drupal, which has a lot of the same concepts and ideas. I'm happy to just answer any general questions, like the tone was a great question. If you have any other questions about something that you've been struggling with, or you know, you just don't quite understand, please shoot me an email. Our accessibility website also has a lot of information. It has a lot of background information. We do provide step-by-step tutorials on how to incorporate all of these features into various applications like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint. There is an email tutorial in there that I've expanded on a little bit. So there's a lot of information on the accessibility website. So I encourage you to check that out as well and look for any answers. Small group today, but I appreciate you all joining. Thank you for those who are online. Thank you for coming in person. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Go get more sessions, learn stuff.
Thank you, Kate. This was absolutely wonderful.
Great, thank you very much. I'm glad you appreciated it.
Bye.
Thanks.
I'm so,